Well, actually, to answer the question, I believe that when folks look at their council members and elected officials, they look at them in a leadership form, and also, you know, they're public figures. So they look at what they're doing, what they're eating, and who they're with. And so I believe as a leader that it is important to run the city, take care of the basic services, but at the same time, you know, we can stand there and be able to multitask and help others with their quality of life. And especially, you know, we have employers, and by helping out with this health issue, it helps the businesses with fewer health claims issues for their employers. And so I think it's really important that we do as much as we can for the community when we're being looked at as role models, and having them know that we are having a very healthy lifestyle. The city manager already started with the city employees by cutting down a lot of the suites that are at the city offices. And so I do believe that, you know, we can play a role and ensure that folks know that leadership starts from the top, and this is where the city is at. And definitely caring about their health is certainly something we should do.
All right, it's 11:33 on KTSA. District 4 candidates with us here in the studio today. Rey Saldana on the phone, Leticia Cantu. Also with me, helping ask the questions, Elaine Wolff and Jade Esteban Estrada from PLAZA De ARMAS TX.com, which is a subscription website covering political and local news, San Antonio, South
Culture,
Texas,
business,
all of that, right? Next question, we start with Leticia Cantu. You may remember that around the time President Obama was being inaugurated, Leticia Cantu, there were some, I think 2 members of City Council that got into some trouble for billing the city for their trips to the inauguration. In your opinion, would it be justifiable city expense for you to travel to the 2013 inauguration?
City council members are invited to many different cities and different states for some best practices, to attend different conferences, and I do think it's important that the city council members attend. But do I think that we should specifically schedule something to be entertained at either a certain event or an inauguration? You know, I don't believe that we need to go and entertain ourselves now.
Well, the specific question is, should taxpayer funds be used for those trips?
Absolutely not. Now, I mean, if it just so happens there's a conference that was set 2 years ago and it happens to be around the time and you were already scheduled, it could be a coincidence. But do I think that they should pick up the tab so we can go and be entertained with our friends and family? Absolutely not.
Rey Saldana, same question. Would it ever be justifiable for you to use taxpayer funds to travel to Washington for the 2013 inauguration?
Well, no, and I think the reason that's the case is because you don't want to create the perception that what taxpayers are funding is essentially a leisure trip to go see it. I think it's a monumental moment, but at the same time, it seems to be something that should be incumbent on the personal individual's expense rather than the taxpayer, because it does create that perception, and I understand why some people are upset about that.
All right. Also joining us now here in the studio is Kathy Luna, who is the 3rd declared candidate in District 4. Kathy, thanks for coming in with us.
Thank you.
Just to reiterate the question we've been asking, if you were on City Council, would it be justifiable to spend taxpayer dollars to travel to Washington, D.C. for the 2013 presidential inauguration, as 2 members believed it was for the 2009 inauguration?
Absolutely not. If you wanted to go to the 2013 inauguration, it should be a personally funded trip. Yes. My name is Kathy Luna, and currently I'm the president of the Rainbow Hills Area Neighborhood Association. I've been president for 7 years, and I've worked with City Council on many, many issues affecting our neighborhood. And these issues are rampant throughout District 4, just not to Rainbow Hills. So I asked myself, what can I do to better this situation and get better results from City Hall? And I said, I should run for City Council. I should go down and investigate and see how our monies are spent, how our budgets are put together, and how I can arrive at more money to address the issues that plague District 4. I am married to my husband for over 40 years. I won't say exactly how many, over 40. And I have 4 children. My oldest son was Samuel, and he was a police officer at the Southside Substation for 23 years. He is deceased. My second son is serving in the U.S. Air Force. He retires today at 1 p.m. With an effective date of 1 April. I have a daughter, Stephanie. She lives in Pekin, Illinois, and she's the personnel manager for the Walmart store there in Morton, Illinois. And my youngest son, Greg, is an assistant to the administrator at Beaches Hospice. And I have 12 grandchildren and 1 great-grandchild at this point in time. And they all need me to run for this office too, because it's their future that I'm looking at. And I appreciate this time. Thank you very much.
Our next question will be from Elaine Wolff. And Elaine will start this time with Kathy, since we haven't started with her yet.
Fantastic. Welcome, Kathy. The city announced this week to the governance committee that they now have $47 million in savings from the 2007 bond program. And that results from the fact that the recession, for the most part, resulted in lower pricing in materials and labor. Now, those savings are not even across the districts. For instance, there was $11 million in savings in District 3, $5 million, I think, in District 10, maybe a little bit under $2 million in District 7. And the mayor and the city staff working together have proposed taking 18 to 20 million of that and putting it into a downtown project of some sort. They're calling it a citywide benefit or a citywide project. And then divvying the rest of that up kind of evenly, anywhere from 1.5 million to 3 million. Here's my question to you all. If you were the council person in office at the time of a discussion like this, do you fight for more for your district? Is it more appropriate that those monies go back in the same way they came out, so that District 3 gets 11 million? Or is it right for the mayor to stand up and say, let's take some of this money and really do sort of a big wallop program?
I personally believe that we should fight for monies for our district. Our districts need so much done: infrastructure repair, sidewalks, drainage issues, roads, not main thoroughfares, but neighborhood roads need to be fixed. So I believe that as a council person, I should fight for that extra money for the district.
All right, same question for Rey Saldana.
Yeah, and I think the mayor's biggest point seems to be that any big city or any successful city has a great and vibrant downtown, and that seems to be the direction. And it's true. The tourism hospitality industry, something like $11 billion, and significantly gives to the city's budget about $150 million. So it's when we want to move towards a direction towards our urban core, I think it's great. But at the same time, if we want to call this the decade of downtown, we shouldn't make this the decade that District 4 gets out of the discussion, and we need to be able to make sure that District 4, as well as any other district, who have needs, are having those needs met.
All right, Leticia Cantu, same question. Elaine, can you rephrase the question for us?
Yeah, basically, and Leticia, I imagine that you are probably familiar with these types of discussions. There's $47 million in savings from the 2000 bonds program. It looks like the mayor is proposing taking almost half of that, close to $20 million, and putting it into a downtown project, and then just divvying up the rest in the remainder to the districts, rather than putting it back where the savings came from. Do you support that idea? How would you want to handle it as a council person?
Well, what I would do is I would, first of all, yes, definitely look to see how much money there is, how much need there is. There's needs all over the city and also in each district. Each district has very different needs. But one thing that we do is need to ensure that we are appropriating the funds where it is most needed. Now, there will be the citywide discussions, the airport, etc., others that belong to all of us. And downtown belongs to the entire city. It's not a District 1 issue. It's not just the mayor's issue. It is a citywide issue. So we need to see exactly, where we can spend those additional funds that were not allocated, to one specific district or another, but to see where we are going to go get the most bang for our dollars.
If I could ask Kathy a quick follow-up question, would it change your feelings about it at all if you knew that that downtown received only 3% of that $550 million bond the first time?
No, I don't think it would. It wouldn't change my perspective on it.
All right, we have the District 4 candidates with us in studio. Kathy Luna, Leticia Cantu's on the phone, Rey Saldana. We're back with them in another segment of questions. But first, 11:40 on KTSA. Here's Karen.
News Talk. Covered, where San Antonio comes to talk about the news. 550 KTSA.